Sinjin Hawke is this Canadian electronic music producer I've never heard of before until this new album. I heard a few good things about it from some people online and stuff, and I was like, okay, I might try it out. It's an electronic album. You know, I like electronic music. I didn't really know what kind of electronic music it was, though. All I heard was it was an electronic album, and it was pretty good. That's all I knew going into it. So, this album, right? Okay, you could liken this album to various artists that I personally do enjoy. Artists like Hudson Mohawk, or maybe even Igloo Ghost, or Rusty, or Sophie. Like, it's that kind of electronic music, you know? Like, very bright, glistening, and detailed, fun, you know, electronic bangers, like wonky music, you know, that kind of stuff, like Tonight and shit. It has a very eerily similar feel to those artists, you know, as well as a little bit of Forte and OPM on a few tracks as well. However, this is straight up a bangers album. Front to back, you're getting these really fun, epic, grand, playful, bright, glistening, and just really awe-inspiring electronic bangers, and this new Sinjin Hawke album is fucking beautiful. I love this thing. I think this is so good. This has me written all over it. This is exactly my kind of electronic album. I love electronic albums that are more, you know, patient and more kind of skeletal, and you gotta really, like, you know, spend time with it, get acquainted with it. They're like tension building, atmospheric, you know, whether it be like an ambient album like some Tim Hecker shit. And look, in 2017, right, you know, we've had some great electronic releases, like, for example, that Blank Mass album I really loved, but, like, 2017 can throw me all the Throwing Snow albums, all the Visible Cloaks albums, all the Jalen albums at once. I was really hoping to come across an album this year that's like this. Like a bright, fun, just no BS, just banger after banger, enjoyable electronic album. And in a sense, I did kind of get that with the Blank Mass album, but that was very dark, aggressive, menacing, ferocious body of work. I was hoping maybe at some point throughout the year we could find something a little bit more, you know, lighthearted and fun. And that's exactly what Sinjin Hawke came with on this first Opus album. I fucking love this. If you're a fan of Rusty and his Glass Swords album, or Sophie with Product and shit like that, you will not go wrong with this. It's a really enjoyable piece of work. There were two songs on this entire album that I wasn't really amazed by. Those were the songs Shimmer and Prophecy of Martyn Bootyspoon. Because these two tracks, they're like 2 minutes long, they act more like interludes as opposed to real, like, developed full songs. And I feel like these songs could have been full-length songs if they went on for like another 2 minutes and like a beat came in and just laid down like a really nice rhythm or something, just came through with a good melody. That could have been, there's a lot of potential with these two tracks, but they just kind of fizzle out. And they act mainly as interludes. However, the remaining 12 tracks are all fucking great. Like, it's such a consistent album. Like, there's like not one song outside of those two that I think is weak, that I think is bad. Like, they're all fucking awesome. I love the samples on this thing, the synths, the drums. It's all really satisfying. There are a few moments on the album that I do feel it's a little bit rough around the edges, whether it be due to mixing or maybe a few sounds just don't really clash very well with one another. You're just getting some fun, grand, epic, enjoyable, satisfying hits with this thing. I really like that about it. You know, that's something that I really think a lot of albums kind of fail to do. Like you know how a lot of the time with albums, you'll get like a single, and it'll be like a really cool, fun banger, but then the album comes out and it's sort of padded out with all these really poor attempts at diversity. I really hate that, you know, when you get a great couple of singles that are just total hits, but then the rest of the album sounds nothing like that, and it's mostly just padded out with these slower, more like meaningful tracks that just don't really work, and you just kind of wish the whole thing was just bangers, you know? This album, the whole thing is just fun. It's an easily digestible, easy listen. It's not deep, it's not complex, but there is a lot going on. It is very detailed, you know, but it's not like say like a Nicholas Jar album or like a Tim Hecker, like you gotta like really sit with it and pay attention to all the details and shit. You just fucking throw it on and have a blast. Like, it still has that detail, but obviously not in the same way. Personal favorite tracks on this thing, Dawn of Infinity is fucking awesome. The second track on the album, really love the samples on this track. The synths sound wonderful. There's female vocal samples, like when the drop comes in, they sound lovely, but I really love that like chime loop, that like little melodic chime that kind of loops. It's really hard to describe, but they're kind of like throughout the build up of the track. There's this really nice little hypnotizing loop that plays. I think it sounds awesome. The track Don't Lose Yourself to This fucking amazing. I love this fucking track. It's so awesome. Another really hypnotic, mesmerizing loop through the samples and the groove and the melodies in this track, and when the drums come in, it sounds so fucking cool. The only thing I don't like about this track is like the last minute or two where it kind of embraces this like Caribbean sound. It doesn't really appeal to me. Like the drum beat becomes kind of like dancehall-ish, and I mean, it's not like straight up like Afrobeat dancehall or anything like that. It just has a bit of an influence, has a sort of Caribbean groove going on. That I'm just not a huge fan of like Caribbean dancehall type music. I'm just not really into it, so that wasn't really appealing to me a huge amount. But the whole song is like 5 minutes long, and that's like the last minute or two. The first 3 minutes is just fucking bliss. The song Nailgun that comes after this track is fucking crazy. It's easily one of the most unorthodox tracks here. Just the bass drums and the way they just kind of sporadically just flutter, like the way it sounds is fucking crazy, and that really creepy like deep voice sample that is fucking awesome, dude. I love this track. The song Snowblind as well has one of the best like drops on the album. Every time this beat comes in, I'm just like, what the fuck? It just sounds fucking amazing. Like the sound of this album is so appealing to me. I really love this sound. And you know how albums like a lot of Hudson Mohawke stuff, especially with Tonight as well, they embrace like horns and shit, like on the song Higher Ground with those like really empowering horns. Sinjin Hawke does that too on the tracks By Any Means, as well as On Set, which both feature some really grand, empowering, loud horns that just really increase the hype and the intensity of the songs. By Any Means is another favourite of mine. The last couple tracks, Divination, I think is how you pronounce it, I'm not too sure, features this really weird sample of this guy going, oh yes, this really weird voice, kind of reminds me of, you know, that fucking, what's it, that advert? Oh, yes! It sounds cool. The final track ends things off on a really awesome note as well. Very great, grand finish on this thing. They Can't Love You is another really nice melodic moment on the album. As far as low points go, on the tracks Divination and Snowblind, I think the mixing could have been better, like especially on Snowblind at the very beginning of the track where these chimes come in at the very beginning, and they're really harsh on the ears, they're really ear-piercing, it's a little annoying, so I think the mixing could have been better on a few tracks. Again, that Caribbean part of the song, Don't Lose Yourself to This, it doesn't really appeal to me. Shimmer and Prophecy of Martyn Bootyspoon, those two interlude type tracks, they were total missed opportunities in my opinion. They could have been really cool songs if they were like developed and full, you know, because the instrumentals surrounding these songs do sound good. They're just not really satisfying because they're only 2 minutes, they don't really go anywhere. These tracks were a couple missed opportunities, but the overall album is a total blast. I really love this. I'm going to give it a very strong 8 out of 10. It is just shy of missing a 9 out of 10 just because of those few small issues I had. I really recommend you listen to this. Go buy this album, stream this album, do what you gotta do. Just support this record, man. I think it's a really great electronic album. Loads of fun. Can't wait to see what Sinjin Hawke does next. I think he's got great potential. Yeah, I fucking love this, and I'm going to be playing it all throughout the year. This is fucking sick. Yeah, that's my opinion on this new Sinjin Hawke album, first opus. Bye.